All right. I'm Hafiz, better known as Alpha Master Pimp or App, Cerezy, active dominant, sadist, stagehand, philosopher, and poet. And you know it. Basically, doing a recap officially because I believe that's what I owe some of the people who follow me these past 10, 15 years online, at least, in this journey. And I guess the whole thing that I'm trying to express in this particular one is the, I guess, road to recovery of sorts. Not just on a personal level, but on a level that surpasses so many other different cultures and characters and consequences and repercussions in our lives as Americans, you know, for at least the past 30, 40, 50 years. So walk with me if you can. I remember my favorite little grocery store used to sit over here. It was a pinnacle of things, but I also remember this street being notorious on 7 different kind of ways. And right here used to be the stadium, and over around on the other side used to be the school. You know, the little youngins that you see sitting up here just playing basketball and this, that, and the other back in the Rayford Edmund days were administering more product than people believed when he became the #1 dealer in America for that era. 2.5 tons a week from this neighborhood for over 6 years. Now, how does all of that apply to where I'm at and a lot of where I'm at in this life? Well, part of that actually includes the whole pimpish demeanor of sorts that come with this, because it's not the actuality, it's the reality. You know, coming through, up. Yeah, so in the process of me being here and the whole nine, I've watched brand new schools change, this change. I remember the last video I think I posted here, was talking about how the voting on this side of the street was so much more different than the voting on the other side of the street, but this is like the shortest distance between polls. And you know, on this side of the city too. I remember when this place was a little parking area, and a lot of where people are, including where that flag is now, which is a beautiful thing, you know, right behind me in the whole nine. Those were the last people on that corner until this happened. I remember this one right here was one of the first ones to, or the one down the street was one of the first ones to be built by some people, and they hired a bunch of essays, or you have to call them that, you know, even though that's just as bad as Negro. You know, and they had to stop construction on it because, you know, they died building it. You know, one of the first buildings, you know, yet another people up here. Now they got people with free boxes and places that, you know, exist in a whole different area. And while the essence of what people think are gentrified out of this environment still exists, the reality is, you know, it wasn't about the people who showed up, it's the people who left. And with that being said, man, I'm actually taking this little walk down to my little neighborhood bank in hopes that this is a reality that I've been attempting to pray for, but also knowing it's going to require a whole hell of a lot of work, adjustment, and realization too, because, well, this is my home. The last time that I existed on this block from right here to all the way down that street back there was shut down on a Friday night. 20, almost 30 something degrees. and all of this was empty. And I'm sitting backwards and forwards going through all of this, and I live one of my last moments in time on this block outside of trying to move my shit out, whatever I could salvage, due to a fire that was so spiritual of sorts that it seems to also exist with what exists on this block. I remember when I first moved onto this block, man, almost 15 something years ago, how there were still remnants of the Rayford era that existed everywhere. I mean, it was in the park, it was on this block. I remember there was this crazy dude that after a while I just got really tired of just seeing this dude on this obvious crazy thing, but he kind of almost lived in one of these little houses right here. And after a while of getting used to meeting the neighbors in the neighborhood, I actually asked, what's this man's story? And they told the story of how this guy had a little brother and they were both, Pee-wee star, cool kids, stuff like that, lived right here in one of these apartments right here. I believe it was, I remember because it was also during the era that got so bad that there was transvestites doing tricks. Yeah, I think it was this one, but I believe it was 56 instead. All right. And yeah, it was 56. This is where he stayed. This is where the old cat, they used to stay. I used to remember it. Every time he show up, hey, how you doing? He'd be like, oh no. He told me a story of how he had been on this block, this very block, from living right there, 78 years. And that was maybe 10, 15 years ago, max. And I'm looking at the remnants of my home, returning back to a home of sorts, right here, 48 and a half. And I'm so waiting to get my ass back here, you just don't seem to understand. They even got a ghetto lock on this damn thing. Do not enter, leave me alone, stop fucking with me, because this is what and this would maybe my home again, right there. That's connected to that, and then there's all of that too. And yeah, part of that comes with the realization that, I've got to stand on my block and understand that there'll be a time that I'll be able to stand on my block again. Now, let me show you something that's really deep about, my intentions. My intentions were so well at that look right there. If you can see that, you can notice right there are the letters E-Z. I'm dead ass serious about what I'm trying to be dead ass serious about. And this includes everything, including the realization that knowing that lady and these folk down here and, a couple other folk and the folk that, work over here. There was one cat that lived over in this apartment over here. This is when I peeped this game. That he came over here, and it was a rental place too, more like for the white folks, white college folks. And he found out that on this side of the street, there wasn't nobody running for ANC and shit. So he didn't have to say, hey, that's my name, I'm running for ANC, come follow me. None of that. They just, okay. And so here's this dude trying to struggle to make rent that actually was, the ANC for a couple of years, literally. The only reason why he got voted out one year is because this mother over there found out about it, and she said, baby, why don't you go on a run and we'll get people to vote for you. So, yeah. So now here I am coming home, and that's literally what I've been trying to do all this time. I don't want to be nowhere else right now on the planet but home. Now, I know that might sound like something weird to all of y'all, but I believe that if I can get as much of my shit together to be a part of whatever it is that's on this side of the block, in the nation's capital, even with a weekend like this, all right, I just want to say, man, I hope that all of the prayers and the well wishes and everything is going to result in what I'm telling you right now. My tummy's been tickled with. Yeah. Now, this is north side, that's east side. That one is number 1. That parking lot over there is number 1. There is number 1 northwest, and there is number 1 northeast. And that's North Capitol that goes out of here. This street is New York Avenue and also 50. You know, I go back to I remember when this white guy took his first hit in his neighborhood and became a feature of this motherfucker for the past, I shit you not, 17, 18 years. You know, probably the only one that actually got, you know, a little bit more comfort rights and existed. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going in and handle my business. And, yeah, let me get back with you. You good?